Day 2 even crazier? Taekook repeats romantic moments and El Paso fans break down in tears again. El Paso has once again become the witness to a night that no one will ever forget. If Day 1 already left thousands of army screaming, shaking and crying, then Day 2 reached an entirely different level. More emotional, more intense, and according to many fans more real. Since early morning, long lines had already formed around the concert venue. Some fans admitted they hadn't even slept the night before. The reason was simple: they were afraid of missing something. Because after what happened on Day 1, no one believed Night 2 would be normal. And they were right. A different atmosphere from the start. As the stage lights slowly dimmed, the energy in the stadium shifted instantly. This wasn't a typical explosive concert opening. It felt softer, more intimate, almost personal. Then the intro music began. The giant screen lit up, revealing two silhouettes that every fan immediately recognized. And within seconds, the crowd exploded. Taeyoung and Jungkook. But what made everyone freeze for a brief moment was how they appeared. Not from opposite sides of the stage, not with distance between them, but side by side. Close, too close to be called coincidence. The look that couldn't be explained. At first, everything seemed normal. The choreography flowed perfectly. Song after song carried the crowd into a frenzy. But then something shifted. During a dimly lit moment in the performance, Taeyoung turned toward Jungkook. Not just a glance, a stare. Deep, lingering, as if everything else disappeared. And Jungkook? He didn't look away. He held the gaze. For a few seconds that felt like forever, they stood there locked in a moment that made the entire stadium fall. Silent. And then the screams erupted. Fans realized what they had just witnessed. Some covered their mouths. Some burst into tears. Others stood frozen, trying to process if it was even real. A moment repeated or something more? If Day 1 gave hints, then Day 2 felt like an answer. Or perhaps an even deeper mystery. In the middle of the next performance, something very familiar happened again. Taeyoung walked closer. Jungkook smiled, a small, soft smile rarely seen on stage. And then Taeyoung reached for Jungkook's hand. Not long, not dramatic, but clear enough for thousands to see. And in that exact moment, tears broke out across the stadium. Fans couldn't hold back their emotions. Some fans immediately hugged each other. Others sat down, crying uncontrollably. According to social media reports, a few even had to be escorted out due to overwhelming emotions. One fan shared after the concert, "I thought I was ready after Day 1, but this felt different. It felt real. I don't even know why I'm crying this much. This isn't just fan service. The way they look at each other, you can't fake that. But is that true? Or is it just emotion amplified by the atmosphere? Small interactions, big impact. What made Day 2 feel crazier wasn't just the big moments, but the small ones. Like when Jungkook suddenly adjusted Taeyoung's mic so gently, or when Taeyoung laughed and casually touched Jungkook's shoulder just a little longer than usual, or when they walked side by side at the edge of the stage, with almost no space between them. Individually, these moments might mean nothing. But when they happen again and again, in one night, fans start asking, is this really coincidence? The ending that broke hearts. The peak of the night came during the closing. The lights dimmed. The final song echoed. Each member took turns saying goodbye. When it was Taeyoung's turn, his voice sounded different, softer, more emotional. He thanked the fans, the city of El Paso, and the people who are always by his side. Then, without saying much more, he turned toward Jungkook and smiled. Jungkook smiled back. No words. Just a look that once again silenced the entire stadium. As they stood side by side, waving goodbye for the last time that night. Some fans swear they saw something they couldn't explain. Something too real to be called performance. What really happened? After the concert ended, social media exploded within minutes. Videos, photos, and fan theories spread like wildfire. Taekook immediately started trending worldwide. But as always, no confirmation, no explanation. Only moments and feelings, an unanswered mystery. Was it all just part of the show? Or something deeper they can no longer hide? Why did day 2 feel more emotional than day 1? And the biggest question of all, will this continue in the next city? This story isn't over. Because if there's one thing certain about that night in El Paso, this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something bigger. Just when fans thought the night had ended, something unexpected began. The crowd that refused to leave. Even after the final bell, something felt unfinished. Thousands of army remained in their seats. No one rushed to the exits. No one wanted to break the spell. Chants slowly filled the stadium again. Soft at first, then louder, then overwhelming. Taekook, Taekook, Taekook. Security staff exchanged glances. Even they seemed unsure how to respond to a crowd that refused to move, not out of chaos, but out of emotion. Some fans were still crying. Others stared blankly at the empty stage as if waiting, hoping that something or someone would come back. And then, a shadow or just imagination? A short clip began circulating online just minutes later. Grainy, shaky, barely visible, but enough to spark a wildfire. In the video, 2 figures could be seen near the back of the stage, after most lights had already been turned off. One taller, one slightly shorter, standing close, very close, too close. Some fans claimed it was them. Others said it was just staff, but the way the 2 figures seemed to pause and turn toward each other, that was enough. Backstage whispers began to surface. Within an hour, anonymous posts began appearing across fan forums. No names, no confirmations, just whispers. One post read, "Something felt different backstage tonight." They weren't acting like usual. It was quieter, more focused, like something had happened. Another claimed, at one point they disappeared together longer than expected. Staff looked nervous. Is any of this verified? No, but in a fandom that notices everything, even silence becomes a clue. The staff reaction that raised eyebrows, one of the most talked about details wasn't even on stage. It was the staff. Several fan-recorded videos showed subtle, but noticeable reactions during certain moments, especially the hand touch. A camera operator briefly shifted focus. A stage manager looked away. Another staff member was seen whispering urgently into a headset. Coincidence? Or something unplanned unfolding in real time? The moment fans can't stop replaying. Out of everything that happened on day 2, one specific moment continues to dominate timelines. Not the hand touch, not the smile, but something quieter, more subtle. During a pause between songs, when the music faded and the lights dimmed, Jungkook leaned slightly toward Taeyoung. Not enough to be obvious, but enough. Taeyoung didn't move away. In fact, he leaned in too, for less than a second. And yet, that second has now been replayed millions of times. Slowed down, zoomed in, analyzed frame by frame. Fans begin connecting the dots. As the night went on, theories started evolving. Not just about day 2, but about everything leading up to it. The increased interactions during rehearsals, the subtle changes in stage positioning, the way they seemed more aware of each other than ever before. Some fans believe this wasn't spontaneous.
Slowly, quietly, until now, a pattern or a turning point. What's making fans even more emotional is the realization that this might not be random at all. Because when comparing clips from previous concerts, something stands out. The interactions are becoming more frequent, more natural, less performed. If day 1 was surprising, and the day 2 was overwhelming, then what happens next? Inside the hotel, on a wave of speculation. Later the night, another rumor began spreading. Fans gathered outside the hotel where the group was reportedly staying. Most expected nothing, just a glimpse, a wave, a shadow behind the curtain. But then, lights turned on in one of the upper floors. Two silhouettes appeared, standing close to the window, side by side. One turned slightly, the other followed. Phones went up instantly, but before anyone could capture anything clearly, the lights went off. Coincidence? Or something more? No more confirmation has been made. No more official statement. No more explanation. And yet, the questions keep growing. Why did they duo feel so different? Why were the moments longer, deeper, harder to ignore? Why did the energy shift not just on stage, but everywhere? The emotional impact no more one expected. Perhaps the most powerful part of the duo isn't the mystery. It's the impact. Fans across the world are still reacting. Some say they've never felt disconnected. Others admit they're overwhelmed, unsure how to process what they witnessed. One fan wrote, "You don't even need answers. What he saw, what he felt, that's enough." Another side, "If this is real, even a little, then this is bigger than music. What happens on day 3? Now all eyes are on the next performance. Because after everything that happened, expectations have changed. The stakes are higher. The emotions are deeper.